Hello, friends, and welcome. I thought I would jump on live today in preparation for my guest who will be joining me this Friday on my podcast, The Creative Connection. And so let's just dive right in. So, this month, I have been talking about what it means to ground ourselves, to begin again, and to step into leadership from a place of authenticity. And for leadership, what I think it's important for you to know is that I don't just mean leading in the workplace, I mean leading in our lives, leading in our communities, everywhere where there's an opportunity for us to step forward. So this week, I have the distinct pleasure to welcome a special guest Friday on the Creative Connection podcast. Her name is Pamela Miles, and her story is one of resilience, courage, and creativity. From surviving abuse, becoming a pastor, writing a book, and now leaning into being the artist that she is at her core, at her center. Pam knows firsthand what it means to lead through change, find your voice, and learn to share your true self. And I think she would, and I agree, that sharing your true self to the world means where we are right now in this space and time. I'm looking forward to our conversation later this week, where I know there will be moments of rawness, moments of inspiration, and some little tidbits of knowledge, especially as we all move forward into the next season, into fall, into leaning into being our best selves. On September 24th, just a couple of weeks from now, I will be doing my fall Rooted in You circle, where together, a small circle of us, no more than 10, will be leaning in together and practicing how to remain grounded, find our grounding, and how to become the best versions of ourselves. So, as I think about this conversation that's coming up this Friday, and I think about my own journeys of beginning again, I have, like many people my age, 60 something, I'm in my mid 60s, I have started and stopped multiple careers, finally landing on what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, which is helping people find their voice, find their vision, reignite with it, and leaning into what really matters most. And then I feel drawn to Pam. I feel drawn to her journey. I feel drawn to finding that artist within ourselves. Now, my artistry is in sharing a story on a stage, helping others share a story. I think in Pam's journey, her artistry, her mandalas, her eggs. Oh, it's on the other side of the room. I took uh, a Ukrainian egg class from her a year ago, and the artistry and the connection that she allowed me to have with shaping the way that egg looks. So I know Pam as all these things I've introduced to you, but she's also an family. And because of that, I want to lift her up. This is a new avenue that she's taking by being an advocate for the healing journey that art can have. Last Friday on my podcast, and I think even the Friday before that, I asked a question, and I'm asking it again now. What helps ground you when you feel like life is spinning out of control? I'd love to have you pop in the chat. What is it? How do you stay connected to it? That's such a good question. This morning I was at a meeting, a women's organization that I belong to, and we were doing a what matters most. How do we identify with? And does this allow us to be the best person or persons that we want to be? And that exercise had to do around values. So if you think about values and you think about what you value, and if I gave you a list of values, what would be 5 values that you can relate to? And values you might find on this list are going to be love, they're going to be adaptability, they're going to be courage, they're going to be fun, they're going to be uh, family, faith, trust, loyalty. Think of all of the things that you consider to be a value word. And what would be your 5 top values? Maybe jot those down. Note to self. Values I think I'm leaning into are. And then if you were to ask those questions, why do these values most show up for me right now? I had the pleasure of being in a room of about 1,500 women last week, and we had a keynote presentation that was actually doing just this. And the 5 values that I had identified last week, now they may have changed this week, but last week they were family, faith, trust, loyalty, and love. Now, those were the 5 I narrowed down. There were a lot more on my list, but those 5. So, why did those 5 matter most to me? And then I thought, do they define me? Are they a part of my identity right now? And they are. And the 2 that sort of rise to the top, which brings in another one that wasn't in my top 5, but are trust and loyalty. I'm presently involved in another community where there seems to be some broken trust and a lack of loyalty to one another. And I think those are why those popped up for me. But the one that came with it was courage. So those 5 words, interestingly enough, and the bonus one of courage, are words that I would use for Pam. I think those are values that she holds dearly. And I'm going to ask her that question as a part of our conversation later this week. What are the values that matter most to you and why? The second part of that is Is this how I live my life? Are those five values how I drive my leadership, how I drive my business, how I drive all of my interactions with people that I'm around? And the answer is yes, they do. Plus some. So, as we think about the idea of being grounded in ourselves, and when I say the phrase beginning again, I think about when we fall to the ground, either literally or figuratively, we fall to the ground and we have to pick ourselves up and we have to dust ourselves off. And then we have to put one foot in front of the other to go on, to move forward, which speaks to being grounded. You have to stand up and ground yourself on your feet. You have to be resilient. You have to have courage to take that first step forward. And whether you are in a position of seniority or management where you work, where you are responsible for other beings, other humans that are walking through life right now, remaining grounded and able to pick ourselves up, stay in tune, are things that create authentic, meaningful leadership. So I thought I would pop on today just to give you a little teaser about what's coming, to leave you with the question of what helps you ground yourself when life feels overwhelming. Is it writing? Is it doing art? An advocate for someone that doesn't have the ability to advocate for themselves. I think all of that is going to come up on that conversation I will have with my guest this Friday. As always, every week I write a blog article that companions with the podcast, and that will come out on Sunday. And then again, my invitation to you, if you are a woman that is seeking support, is seeking to journey through the fall with other women, to be accountable to lift you up, to say, yes, you're doing good. Join me at the Rooted in You circle that begins on September 24th. And know that if you choose to join us and you have to miss an actual live activity, that's okay. Everything will be recorded so you can go back. So, all of this that I'm talking about and have been talking about since episode 1 of my podcast back in July are all leading to not getting ready to hibernate and dig in for the winter, but to stand firm and grounded and move through the change of season as the leaves fall, the days get shorter, get cooler, and we begin to wonder, what is next? What will 2026 hold for us? What a great question. As I wrap up this little teaser, I want to share, and I jotted this down because I didn't want to forget. I wanted to share that leadership isn't about a title. It isn't about being on top. There was a position I held once where I had agreed to take this position because I just wanted to tell everybody what to do. And that was so far from the truth. I wanted us to get in touch with our story, our truth, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the excellent, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wanted us to touch that. And so I I pushed for being in conversation. It was met with resistance. Why? Because nobody had asked their opinion before. Leadership is not about a title. It is about our ability to be resilient, to be present, to have the courage to be ourselves, ask questions, and wait for the answer. My guest, Pamela Miles, her story is a beautiful reminder of truth. And I can't wait to hear and for you to hear our full conversation on the Creative Connection podcast. For those who don't know, it occurs on Fridays at 5 p.m. Sometimes I'm live, sometimes I've recorded it. This week, I think I'm going to record it to allow our conversation to go perhaps this way. And then I'll share something that is rounded out and beautiful. So it will be available at 5 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, you know where that is. If you're not, it's youtube.com at Cindy Thompson, just the way my name is spelled. And then on Sunday, look for my companion blog and see how we can go a little bit deeper with deeper questions to really look at what it means to be a leader in today's age. And most importantly, I would love to have you join me in the Rooted in You circle that begins September 24th. And if you've not heard me already extend this invitation, this is a place and a space designed to help you ground, reconnect with your voice, reignite a vision that you have, a dream that you have, to reconnect with what matters most, and to begin or begin again with courage. If you caught this live today, thank you for being here with me. If this resonated, please share this with someone who needs some encouragement. My dream is to build a community of creative change makers, thought leaders who are willing to be authentic, to share their voice, share their vision, and share why it matters that we be connected. So until we are together again, stay grounded, stay connected to yourself and others, stay courageous in being you, and keep showing up as your true self. Blessings to you.